Why Now? With Jenny Critchlow. Hello, everybody, and welcome to your Monday morning podcast with me, Jenny Critchlow. How are you all doing in there? Not just inside you, but possibly inside your houses right now as well. No surprise to anybody that we're just going to deviate slightly from the thread we've been following over the last few months because of what's going on in the world with Corona or COVID-19, whatever we're calling it. Just before I begin, there are some free stuff that you can access in case you don't know. I have a YouTube channel, put Jenny Critchlow in the search bar and it should come up, and there's some short, easy to follow meditations done just for this period of time, one on anxiety and fear, one to deal with panic if you are in actual fact panicking, one for a global healing, and one my 12-year-old boy recorded just for kids. It's a breathing exercise. And it's had some really lovely feedback. So that's Jenny Critchlow on YouTube. And then over the next coming weeks, I shall be doing my usual work, but hopefully online. And so there will be sound baths, meditation courses. These will be charged. Meditation courses, possibly some shamanic work. So it'll be on Zoom. So I've been trying to catch up with the modern world and get Zoom. So if you are interested in those kind of things, then download Zoom, get in contact with me if you need to. If you're in a different time zone, the great thing about doing it online is I can do them in time zones to suit you. So really worth having a look at that. Anyway, back to the podcast. I am in isolation as I speak. There is an enormous amount of fear and panic going on around the globe. So I thought it probably best to look at how we're going to manage that for ourselves over the coming months. I think a lot of what triggers some of the difficult feelings for people is the uncertainty, is that our lives have had this enforced change in many ways, some of it unforced. And we are going through feelings of panic and fear and despair and worry, and all in so-called negative emotions are coming up for a lot of us. Because our lives are often ordered and organised in ways that don't trigger us as much as possible. Especially the older we get, the more control we have over our lives. We tend to do the same things and go to the same places, and we don't challenge ourselves in new situations in the same way, and don't realise that fear and panic and worry arise when things change around us. And so what do we do? Well, the thing I always say to people and on this podcast is that feelings are called feelings for a reason, is that they need to be felt. We do a lot of talking about feelings. We do a lot of talking about why we may feel certain things. We do a lot of rummaging in the past about how we feel today. But the fact remains is that feelings need to be felt. And until they are felt, they don't change. But the wonderful thing about feelings is that they do change and can change. But what we do over our lifetime is refuse to look at feelings and then feel them, refuse to acknowledge feelings and then feel them, and instead stuff them down inside us until we are a big walking, talking bag of feelings that haven't been felt. And what they then do is they try and spike out. So we can be looking in the fridge and someone's taken all the milk and we have an uncontrollable rage about it, or we're just irritated. But either way, we have a disproportionate response to the feeling, to the fact that someone's drunk all the milk. And that is inner rage, inner fear, inner hurt, coming out and expressing itself over the milk because we haven't stopped and gone through our feeling bag and felt the feelings. So what we're going to be doing over the next 2 months, my invitation to you, is to start feeling the feelings and express them appropriately. So when feelings need to be felt, they need to be felt. So there you are, feeling really, really angry. You're in. Let's do the whole panic buying in the supermarket thing, because there is a lot of judgment going on over Facebook and Instagram and what have you about people panic buying, because it is tricky for people and it triggers a lot of people. And I haven't met anyone yet that has admitted to panic buying. Everyone's saying I haven't panic buyed and I don't panic buy, and I'm angry at everybody that is. And my suggestion first would be to ask yourself if that's true. Have you bought something more than you would normally buy? Have you put 2 packets of pasta in the trolley? Have you put 2 bottles of milk in the trolley, and then walked around and judged everyone else for their 5 packs of loo roll? It's not making you bad. It's asking you to understand that you may well be doing something that you justify to yourself because it isn't as bad as what other people are doing. It's a great game. We all play it. It's called I may suck at it, but you suck at it worse. I'm not panicking buying. I've just got 3 packs of tuna when I would normally buy 1. You have got 8 million loo rolls. You are bad. I am good. So it really helps with the judging thing when we take it back to ourselves. And actually, in all honesty, have I bought some stuff that I wouldn't normally buy? The answer to that is yes. So therefore, I must be a panic buyer. I'm talking for myself there. I'm not saying you are. Haven't bought any loo rolls. So there we are. Can you see I'm already trying to tell you that I'm not really that bad. I didn't buy any loo rolls, but I did buy 3 packs of tuna rather than 1 when I normally would have bought 1. So that's panic buying. I'm as guilty as everybody else. And therefore, the judgment of the other people becomes easier. The problem is when we don't do that kind of work, we look at people and judge, and then we feel feelings, rage, anger, judgment, despair, whatever it is. And then we come from that place of that feeling and then act in a way appropriate to that feeling. So as you know, if you've been following these podcasts, I always say that you are always 50% of any relationship. So that relationship could be with the person panic buying that you're judging in the supermarket. In as little a way or as big a way as possible. So you're looking at that person judging, you are 50% of that relationship. And in any relationship, you are either contributing to it in a positive way or you're contaminating it. You can't have a middle ground. You're either contributing or you're contaminating. And so in that moment of looking at that person and all those difficult feelings of anger and judgment and despair and fear that come up for you, if instead of just allowing yourself to feel those feelings, you come from that very negative place and approach that person, you cause harm. If you shout at that person, if you judge that person, if you criticise that person, you cause harm. You are part of the problem. It doesn't make you bad, it just makes us unconscious. We feel anger and that person is the reason we're angry, and I'm going to give you what for and judge you. And then you pass it on. And we all are kind and lovely people. We really are. But when we're triggered, our behaviour isn't. And we tend to regret that behaviour. Later on, when you feel better, we tend to regret that behaviour or justify the behaviour. But the fact remains is that we commit acts of war like that all the time until we realise that the feelings inside us just need to be felt. And then we become wholly responsible human beings. And what I can sort of hear the feedback from some maybe saying, well, that person there is wrong. What if that person was hurting an animal? Well, personally, I would take steps to, I presume, for the animal not to be hurt. But let's talk about the panic buying situation because it's easier. Is that if that person in front of you understood what you now understand, is that they are coming from a place of fear. That's why it's panic buying. They're coming from a place of panic or whatever it is. They're coming from that place and then doing actions that they think will make them feel better inside and taking 100 loo rolls home. If that person there understood what you now know, they would be able to feel their feelings and then wait to feel better and then make a more reasoned and considered and kinder decision about their actions. So over the next few months, the minute we want to act out on other people, judge other people, rant about other people, complain about other people and how they're behaving, notice instead how you feel. Because there are difficult feelings all the time, but I get that for a lot of us, me included, there's some overwhelming feelings coming up, despair, worry, I've had to shut my work down, that kind of thing. And that was a painful feeling to express. But I just simply express it. We just express our feelings. You can shout out of a window, you can stamp on the ground, you can cry, you can do everything appropriate to that feeling. We just don't create actions from that feeling. And when you're feeling better, you then make better decisions. You then act differently towards other people, and you start being someone that contributes to every relationship rather than someone that can and does contaminate, which we all do. So my invitation for you this week is to really feel your feelings deeply, compassionately, kindly. Give you as much as anybody in the world deserves your compassion and kindness. Give it to yourself. You're so worth it. Feel all your feelings and express them appropriately. Hit pillows if you need to. Go and shout outside the windows. Whatever you need to do those. But don't take any action outside of yourself towards anybody else or anything else that comes from those difficult feelings. Wait to feel better and then make your decision. And in that way, you bring peace. In that way, you are being the person that we all know that you are, this deep and kind and compassionate person. And let's do this together. I am with you. I will be with you as many people as possible. Oh, there'll be one-to-ones. I'm starting one-to-one consultations and chats on Zoom, I think probably starting tomorrow, but I have to sort all that out. Be patient with me and be patient with yourself. And we're all in it together. I am with you, and I will look forward to speaking to you via the podcast next week. Love to you all. Bye-bye.